what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of She Social Podcast with myself, Miss Cosmo. Really excited to bring you another episode of just phenomenal women who are doing big things within the entertainment industry. And today, I do have two DJs who are going to be chatting to me. I have a DJ Sandy who's going to be coming in, as well as DJ LeSoul, all the way from Durban. So, of course, with that, we're going to jump straight into the interviews for today. Hey, what's up, DJ Sandy?
Hey, Undani.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm good, man. It's good to see you. It's good to hear from you. How's lockdown been treating you?
Oh, very bad, hey? Very, very, very bad. Hectic.
Why?
Everything just stopped. Like, there were no jobs, like, it was just sufferings. I was not okay with the lockdown situation.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
And how is it that you've managed to kind of maintain yourself and to kind of still seem relevant within the DJing space, especially for somebody like yourself who's also, trying to push and move within the industry?
I think, people that are around me helped me to make it through, and, from the money that I've been saving or from the past months before the lockdown. So, it's shaken me up until I got at this point. I'm okay, but it messed it up. Everything.
Yes, definitely. I can see that, and I understand, especially in a space where we can only make money by being out in public. Now being restricted, it makes it that much harder. But obviously, moving into level 1 has made things just slightly a little bit easier. Is there a way that you're going to be kind of managing yourself as a DJ to get back into the faces of people now that restrictions have been released just a little bit for us to move around?
Yeah, things are better now, and now I'm working on a project. I'm working on a song. So yeah, I'm just hoping that I'm getting there. I'm getting back with full force. So just pray, and everything is possible.
Yes, definitely. Everything is indeed possible. All right, so I think we need to take a few steps back at the moment, though. We do have to kind of, enlighten the people as to exactly who DJ Sandy is and why we should be paying attention. So why do you think we need to be focusing on you and booking you for our next gig, especially coming through with the December season around the corner?
Okay, firstly, you should guys be booking me because I believe that I'm a good DJ, and at some point that's why I'm trying to make on a music now. I think music is gonna make more sense. It's gonna make difference. That's why I'm working to try to have a song. And guys, I'm just that girl who comes from, Eastern Cape. I'm just looking for a support. It's like that.
Yes.
We're here to push. Yeah.
Yes, we definitely are here to push. But what got you into the DJing space? What got you into house music? Why do you love it so much that you chose to be a DJ?
Yo, Cosmo, I think music has been in here with me. Ne? I started love music when I was in high school, and I remember even at home, I would just escape and go to clubs, and I started to lie about it, to say I'm a DJ, and I wasn't even a DJ by then, and I was still staying in Butterworth, and then, I was like, I think this is me, and anyway, I didn't pass my matric well, so I was like, I'm even a lazy person. Let me just take this journey, and I love music, I'm passionate about it, and I'll do anything, for it. So I was like, let me just go for it,
Yes, and definitely house music is taking people to the next level. You're also a dancer outside of just being a house DJ. So how do you find that you incorporate the two together to bring together the performance that you do when you're out at clubs and stuff?
Before, when I was still in East London, I was a dancer before I became a DJ. So I was calling myself a syndrome jibo. So, while I was doing these things, I knew I was getting gigs there and there in East London. There were people that were believing in me. So I was like, let me just start lento yok DJ, and then I asked one of my friend owners at Obrigado, and then I started to practice, and then I asked him to give me test days, and then he tried it, and then I saw, no, this thing, it's working, and then I started to do it, and it was like, okay, here, this is what I'm living for. So I have to get comfortable to it. I leave the desk, I go, and like it comes together. It's not like I'm suffering to do the two of them.
Yes, that's true. Because I mean, at the end of the day, both of them are creative art spaces where people can see you dancing as well as DJing and just enjoying music as a whole. And that's the type of vibe that we're trying to get with regards to just the entertainment space as a whole. So obviously, like you mentioned, you're from the Eastern Cape, but you are finding yourself based in Johannesburg. What inspired the move for you to leave there to actually come to Johannesburg to try and push yourself just a little bit more?
I saw, like, when I was still in East London, I was like getting bookings like from this side, and I was like, no, I'm special, and then people do follow me. I have following, so it means I can do it. So let me just go and try to find something for myself. Maybe it's gonna work out. And then I stayed with a friend, and then things came right. I found my own place, and then I moved to Pretoria. And I felt like in Pretoria things are gonna be better. Yeah, things are better here. There's at least a little bit more money than in the Eastern Cape, and there's more, there is more, I mean, yeah, but English
opportunity.
There's more opportunities. Yeah, there's more opportunities in Joburg.
I can see that. But definitely, I think you are definitely pushing yourself. You are in the age of social media, like you mentioned. Your following was obviously one of those things that inspired you to kind of push a little bit more. And are you finding that things are working a little bit easier for you because you've grown your social media following, so people recognize you a little bit more to actually get you for the bookings?
Yeah, the following is working for me, and I do get bookings. I know, especially in Pretoria, I think that's where I am more, getting money more than in Joburg, because I'm not more in Joburg this side, yeah. But things are fine. I'm getting bookings. It's okay.
Definitely. All right. So you said for the rest of 2020 as well as 2021, you're working on new music. Is that what we can expect coming through from DJ Sandy?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think I'm releasing the song month end October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's on the song with you?
Surprise!
Ah.
Okay, my friend DJ Dixie from Devon, he produced the song for me, and then I'm featuring Umpumi.
Oh, nice, Umpumi!
Yeah,
wow,
it's a piano. Yeah.
Okay, she's the one who featured on a lot of Fista's music as well in the past. And she's a very awesome vocalist.
Yeah, she's very awesome.
Dope. That's so dope.
Yeah.
All right, where can people follow you on social media so that we can keep up to date with what DJ Sandy is up to?
I'm Sandy the DJ on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Nandipa Sandy the DJ Fulani. That's my surname. And then on Twitter, I'm not that active, guys. I don't know, but I have Twitter. It's Sandy the DJ 02.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'm sure people can definitely get involved, and they'll start following you on Twitter as well as on Instagram, just to see what you're up to, where we can see your music as well, and we can obviously engage with it when the single does come out. Thank you so much for your time, Sandy.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, we will be supporting you, and we will be watching you, and we're hoping to see you flourish a little bit more and taking the music industry forward for women.
Thank you so much.
Really awesome always to be engaging with brand new DJs and people who are just trying to push themselves within the entertainment industry. And Sandy the DJ is testament to that. She's definitely getting herself into the spaces where she needs to be. From Eastern Cape to Johannesburg, and of course, making a name for herself. So you can follow her on her social media. Still here on She Social Podcast, and of course, making our way to my second guest. Welcome back to our episode of She Social Podcast, and for today my second guest is DJ LeSoul, hailing all the way from Durban. What's up, LeSoul? How are you?
I'm okay. You're okay. Durban is cold today, which is weird. I think when was in the energy.
You guys always do that. You always say, I know, you people from Joburg always bring the cold. And it's like, how? But I'm not even there. Though. I'm not even there.
It's never cold here.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm just learning, trying to phase out of the lockdown and, moving back to what we usually know, and
Yes.
or at least 50% of what we usually know. So it's a bit hard, but I mean, I guess it's just one of those things that you go through, and it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're officially in level 1 now. So we're obviously a little bit easier for us to get back into the groove. Obviously, lockdown was a little bit tough, a lot on DJs as well as artists with regards to performances. There's still a few restrictions that are in place at the moment, but I think that things are going to open up a little bit more. How are you feeling about where level 1 is going to kind of take you as an artist and take the entertainment space in Durban as well?
The entertainment space first, I think people are going to come out, right? I think people are going to go out and play with the other kids, I don't think people care right now how much a ticket costs, or they just want to be around people. Like, we haven't seen people for a while, like 5 months, plus 5 months. But for me, personally, I think I spent the past 5 months enhancing whatever I couldn't do. So I remember I couldn't mix music. I couldn't read music for some reason. I play the piano now, so I think I'm just going to expose all of that, because 5 months is a long time. 5 months is a long time, doing and practicing something over and over again every day. So I've had a really, really good time learning about myself also, my habits and how to get over them.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to be more prepared, hopefully, early to gigs and stuff like that. That's always good.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so I wanted to actually dive into that a little bit. Also, just for people to kind of get a holistic view as to who you are, because I think those who know DJ LeSoul, they know you as the house DJ, but they also know you as a radio presenter, but not necessarily as the percussionist, the really great piano player that you are. But it's one of those things that I've always loved about you, and how musical you are and how instrumental you are. Has music always been a part of you, even when you were growing up as a little girl?
Definitely. So I'm a full-on PK. I'm a preacher's kid. So my dad.
PK, I've never heard that before.
But like I was telling you, like, he became a preacher very late in his life as well. But it was in the family, and growing up, I started playing piano at church, but I wasn't really good. Like, I wasn't really perfect at it. But I've been playing since I was 14. So I think I just gained more interest as time went by, and and as I grew up. But I've always just been a part of a family that was inclined with music, because I used to be in the choir, church choir. But when you're at church, I was telling you, we told we choir one day, we're backing. I'm not so good at singing, but I was there,
Yeah.
And but the piano was the one that kind of stole my heart, and then from there I learned about DJing. So I think that's how I discovered all the other sounds that exist, and all the other genres, in music, because I had to research about piano, and then click, you find yourself watching a video about someone else who's a pianist and a producer. So then fell in love with house, but it's always been in the family.
Yes, I can imagine how that influence has always kind of come through. And these things happen for a reason, You grow up in a certain family and you learn certain things, and then eventually you're just like, that's actually why I went through that, because now I'm the person that I am today, because I had to, I had to go through the trials and tribulations of the choir and learning how to do the piano before you actually became the person that you are today. And I think it's awesome, because obviously at some point everybody's got a different journey, and everyone's got a different story as well to kind of speak on. And with that, obviously, that's kind of led you to being a DJ, being a house DJ. How has that been for you, getting into the music scene in Durban? Because obviously, everybody knows that Durban is the entertainment hub of South Africa. Like, you guys literally have your own scene there. You have your own celebrities. There's a point where people are just like, I think now as Pume David, because this is where it's at. I don't need to leave Durban because I'm happy where I am. For you to create a name for yourself within that scene, was it very difficult for you to kind of be taken seriously?
Difficult? No. I think it took a lot of discipline, however, because my first gig was very terrible. I thought I was ready. Someone gave me a chance. Like, I think I played 2-3 songs, and they're like, nah, we're not having this. So from that day onwards, I understood, Uguti, it's not about like who you are and who you know here in Durban. It's about literally, can you do the work? You know, like they will give you credit, but it has to be due. So I had to know how to DJ. I had to know how to play before I approached promoters. And then before I knew it, I was a resident in one of the clubs. I remember inviting you to one of the clubs, Ispec.
Yes.
To the ghetto, like
Wow.
like,
What an experience.
and you know, like that's where I got most of my grooming. A Lacoste, which was also called Fusion Room back at Kwamashu. Zining nje indawo where I just learned how to, you know, perfect my skill. But honestly speaking, here it's about, can you actually do the work more than who do you know, you know?
Yeah, I think that's
That's
very
how it is.
important. I think it's very important for that precedent to be placed, especially for females, because sometimes you'll feel as though like, okay, are we just getting an opportunity because it's so nice to have a girl who's on the decks or whatever the case is. So
Right.
it's dope to know that people are actually taking the talent very seriously, especially in a very huge entertainment space like Durban. Obviously, fast forward now, you're DJing, you've got your residency. People are respecting the fact that you're really dope on the decks, but now you've kind of gotten yourself into a position where you can get onto a radio space. How did you get yourself onto Gaga CFM? Because I know that's one of the really main stations in Durban that people look to for pop culture and for things that are happening right now and hot on the streets.
So I used to play mixes at Kakasi. And then after my mix on a Tuesday, Umzokoloko would ask me, it was a midday show, actually the show I'm doing right now. He used to ask me, so where you headed, like my gig guide? I'd go all in, but it's papele. So me and Umzo would have this conversation. And one day, you know, the bosses called me saying, hey, look, we like how you converse with Umzokoloko and we feel like you have potential. And anyways, people like your mixes. So can you do a graveyard slot? I was broke, had no car, I had nothing, you know. But I said, you know what, guys, even if they offered me to do it for free, which they didn't, and they paid me, but I still took the job. There was one show every Friday night. Well, it's a Saturday morning because it was at 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. So it was a lot of experience. You know, nobody's really listening to you, but you know, you gotta you gotta sort of you know, put your best foot forward all the time. So I missed the gigs on Fridays, but I did the gigs on Saturdays and on Sunday nights. And then eventually I did every day at the same time, bless you, every day at the same time. And then after that, I started doing the Friday night shows, Saturday night shows, Sunday night shows, and then did the whole weekend, the dance show. And then from there, I got into midday.
That's a nice kind of come up for you, especially because a lot of people kind of think that people just automatically fall onto radio and they get like the main slot, when it's not the case. You really have to work for your position, especially in the radio space. And I was about to ask you about that sacrifice, because I know as a DJ, it's very imperative for you to be available on Friday nights and on Saturday nights, especially at that hour, because that's the peak time. 1 to 4 a.m. is when the club is banging. So now you had to sacrifice all of those gigs when you were hot on the streets at that point, because people were obviously listening to your mixes on Kakasi, but they couldn't book you. So how were you kind of battling with that opportunity where you could kind of say, okay, maybe let me ask for leave for this gig, or maybe I have to be at work on this day. How were you juggling that for you to still be able to a prominent DJ, but still be able to go after your passion of being a radio host?
So, I mean, it definitely limited me and my availability in the area, but, you know, it's a decision I had to make because, one, I had no radio experience and I wanted to perfect it. You know, I wanted to get to a point where I'm comfortable. In any case, if they want to grow me, I'm ready. So I had to not be late. I had to not be absent as often as I could until I found my feet. When I found my feet, I realized, okay, now, but they realized, okay, cool, she's really kind of doing this and doing well, because I started filling in, you know, holiday slots when some people are gone. Started filling in some of those slots. I started doing, you know, a lot of those rotations, and they were like, okay, cool, you know, you can do a Friday night show. I sacrificed it. I miss invoicing, you know, on a Friday and a Saturday, especially when I had to do the gigs every day. But I'd choose my venue. So I know there are spots here that are car washes that operate from like 4 p.m. till late. So I choose those type of slots. I do the opening sets at clubs, and it wasn't really value for money to the client because they want you to play midnight, you know.
Yeah.
If it's close, really close to work, I take my chances and play at like 11 to half 12, rush straight to work, you know. It's those type of sacrifices, but I had to do it for at least 2 years straight until I'm comfortable with what I'm doing when I switch on the mic, you know, which was one thing that was really important for me because I felt like this was another avenue for me that I didn't know nothing about. And there are people that I'm competing against, not competing against, but working with who have always kind of wished they'd be DJs. And this happened for me by chance, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's good that you took the bull by the horns because you understood the opportunity that was given to you, and you balanced your sacrifice, and look at you now. It paid off because you are on middays from 12 to 3
Yes.
every day on Kakasi FM in Durban. And that's dope because people are now starting to recognize, obviously they've recognized you as a brand, and you're still able to
Yeah.
earn a salary basically, because Monday to Friday is a really great invoicing amount, but also over that you're still able to DJ and still be able to do everything else through the rest of the time in the afternoon. So I think from that perspective, you've definitely earned your stripes, and shout outs to you. A little bit earlier, we were speaking just off air, we were speaking about how you are possibly considering moving to Johannesburg, or maybe even kind of spreading your wings just a little bit more. And as I said as well, is that a lot of the time when I speak to Durban artists, it's as if they're stuck there. They just don't want to leave. They're like, no, Durban is my hometown. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to grow old here. My music is all going to stay here. If I need to go anywhere, I'll jump on a bus, or I'll jump on a plane, or I'll jump on in the car, and I'll get to a gig, but then I'm going to come back to Durban. Why is it important for you to be able to take that leap to say, let's go see what's happening in Gauteng before you actually, branch out?
So I had to build my brand here first. You know, I think it's not such a bad thing that people don't want to leave, but as long as the intention is to feed off the energy out, you know, from in going out. You know, for instance, if you're going to commit to saying you're going to live in Durban for the rest of your life, then at least do the most in Durban so that other people see what Durban is doing and represent, you know. But I feel like it's important for me to take myself outside of my comfort zone, because every time I go on live videos, there are people in Johannesburg who would really love to see me play, you know, who would really love to hear me announce a gig guide, like a weekly gig guide from that area, from that end. And Gauteng is so big. Gauteng is so huge. And Durban is, you know, just a part of, you know, South Africa that I've outgrown the space, however, because I know everyone and anything that happens around the area. And I'm not comfortable always being in lineups because I'm always there. You know what I mean? Like it's really not a good feeling that every concert I have to be there, and there might have been another female DJ or a lady DJ, I like to call it again, another lady or another DJ for instance, who could have occupied my spot. I could be somewhere else. So I feel like holding on to spaces kind of clogs it, and it creates a web against other people entering the space. So I've done my bit here. I need to work like a newcomer when I get to Johannesburg, build my relationships and grow there as well. Then maybe Cape Town after that, but I'm definitely looking to live overseas in the next 3 years.
Nice. It's so dope to kind of see that, you've got these goals, you've got these visions where you want to take yourself globally, which is really dope, because I do think a lot of people kind of enclose themselves and they get too much in the comfort zone where they just want to stay in one position and don't necessarily want to grow themselves as well. Where exactly overseas do you want to take yourself, or how far do you see your brand going?
Okay, so I've enjoyed the US, but the part of the US that I enjoyed the most was New York, Manhattan, that area, because I feel like there's just so much happening, and house is actually growing on people right now. You know, hip hop is big there, Afro beats are big there, but house is just like, you know, one genre that people are kind of taking, you know, moving towards basically. So I think I really like New York, but somehow I found myself enjoying Dubai so much. So I picture myself right in the middle, right in the center of everything, in transit all my life, 8 hours away from New York, 8 hours or 9 hours away from the UK or something like that. Yeah. So I think I definitely settled in Dubai because of the club culture. They dance to just about
Yeah.
anything. Beach clubs are dope. Like, it's always really nice.
Yes, there's definitely a huge entertainment culture that's happening in Dubai. And I think they've also positioned themselves so well where they can actually get other people from different countries to kind of come through and settle in. And they've made it
Yeah.
comfortable for other people to come into their space and explore. So shout outs to you, man. I think it's dope that you've kind of looked at yourself and said, okay, this is the direction I'm taking. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But then doesn't that kind of also kind of enclose you for thinking further for yourself and saying, okay, maybe you want to settle, or are you comfortable with yourself and saying, I want to live out of a suitcase because this is my passion?
I'm comfortable with living out of the suitcase. I really am. So I haven't experienced places like Amsterdam or Spain, and I feel like my perception will change um, as I experience them, and once I do, I know where I will feel at home. So as soon as I experience that, I know, Guti, I'm just going to be that DJ who belongs to the world. So right now, honestly, the most important thing for me is getting my bag solid. And if I'm going to get an apartment right in the middle of the world, I have to be able to afford it or buy it in cash and get residency. If I'm going to do that, then maybe the next best place that I would like to live in, maybe I experience Spain, and I'm like, okay, this is where I like being, because I mean, party. If you want to party, you have to go to Spain. So I think the most important thing for me right now is securing the bag enough right now so that I get a nice solid area in these party, destinations where even if I'm not making so much, but I know I'm not living from hand to mouth. And then from those locations, then I meet new people, because it's so easy to get gigs when you're there.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing that we all don't realize. Like, when you're there, you meet people, even though you might play for free for the first 2 or 3 gigs. But I mean, you gotta be prepared to live there for at least 3 months to get to get on your feet. So I think I really need to do that. I've done it once, where I traveled from Kenya, Namibia, Dubai, from Dubai, New York. From New York, I started exploring other places around New York. Then I went to Turkey after that. So living in a suitcase is definitely not going to be a problem for me. I have to.
I guess somebody has to, you know what I mean? Somebody has to do it. And we need somebody to represent us internationally to take on the likes of.
And bring you guys through as well,
Yeah,
Think about that.
You know what I mean? You can be the next Black Coffee for us and say, hey, doing it for the ladies out in the
He needs
world.
to bring me through now. he needs to bring me.
Hopefully we can get him on the phone. Hopefully we can speak to him and see if he can make the pods to happen.
Has to.
Yeah, no. All right. So also just bringing it back home, bringing it back to the Durban scene. I think we all witnessed what was happening with the entertainment strike that happened on the highway a few weeks back, where the Durban artists were all fighting for entertainment to kind of open up again, because we were stuck as the only industry that wasn't able to operate anymore. Everybody else had gone back to work. Everybody else was earning their income except for artists. And that was a difficult position for us to find ourselves in. Durban artists then decided to take on the charge and say, look, we're going to move in the right direction for us to be able to open up our industry again. I wanted to find out the thinking behind that march. Were you privy to it? Were you part of it? Or what was your understanding with what was happening? Because I think a lot of perceptions were kind of created on social media. So we don't have all the facts. So maybe you can kind of clear up some things with regards to that.
No, Def. I believe this was done in a WhatsApp group, where there are lots and lots of Durban artists who are there. The group was just recently generated, and I think then general consensus around that was that we go out and we march, and we march for our rights to work and at least 70% capacity. Look, I really respect that they did that. I really respect that they represented us, because it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there. But I have a law degree, so I would kind of encourage that if we want to do things like these, at least the march could have been legal, because it put us in such a position that now so many artists who could have been soaring overseas in the next 3 months or 4 months might have criminal records. They have a case, right? And we don't even know the verdict. Is Opuma 18. So if we wanted to do it and do it right, because when we're under pressure, and when you're desperate, we're prone to making decisions without kind of evaluating the outcome, you know. So I love that they went out. I love that they contested. I love that they did it. But at least it could have been legal. One, because there and then we know that the South African police services would have protected them instead of attacked them, you know. And it's the N3. It's the main road. It's the biggest road from here, driving all the way to Johannesburg and other destinations. And another thing is, you know, there are so many other young artists that need to understand the processes that we need to go about, like how the alcohol ban happened, just like how the lift for tobacco to be sold happened. It had to be contested in the court of law because of specific reasons. And yes, we had our hashtags, we had our, you know, our marches, we had our contesting banners there, but you know, over and above the respect that I have for them, I hoped and I wish that there could be people who could do the patent law, you know, and then just kind of come in and say, we see that you're struggling, let us help you do this right, instead of putting yourselves in danger, you know, you against rubber bullets and all of that. So, you know, like I really felt sad that one, I wasn't there, because I probably would have been there as well had I not thought about it right. But I had to sit down and say, hey, we are desperate, we are struggling, and my brothers are out there running in the streets for us, you know. Could we have done it better? And the answer was kind of yes.
Yeah, it could have been done better. I also think it's also one of those points that us as artists probably only came to light to now, especially during lockdown, that the importance of being unionized is very critical at this point in time, because we're not unionized, we're not able to then speak to the government to then say, okay, we want to legalize our strike, this is how we need to then petition it, this is our communication, this is how we're going to put it forward. But do you think that's the message that was taken back from the artists after the march, after the some of the artists had been arrested? Do you think that they're sitting back and thinking, okay, let's think of better ways for us to communicate with the government? Because I know, like I said, because Durban is an entertainment hub, it also gets a lot of funding from arts and culture for certain events to happen, like the Durban July and so forth. Yeah. Do you think they've actually sat back and said, okay, let's see how else we can kind of work forward to be in a better position?
I think the problem with introspection and when you're in your own corner is no one really gets to hear and see how far you've grown.
That's so true.
But I mean, for what I know there are very, very prominent people in the industry, in the Durban culture, who were representing us there, you know, who really, really fought for us. And knowing them, I know for a fact that they probably sat back and said, okay, now that we've fought and we've kind of gotten an outcome, we're not sure if the outcome was based on that we fought for what we wanted, or the president addressed us because it was time for him to address us. But going forward then, how do we do it? Because obviously we got his attention, you know. Now maybe let's do it right next time, so as not to put all the other artists at risk, you know. I trust that they're responsible enough to think that way. But other than that, man, you know, desperation breeds a beast. And I wouldn't be surprised if we go back in the streets and fight again, if, you know, if things don't go back to normal 100%. But we understand there's a pandemic, so hey.
I think that will always be the issue that we have as artists, is that we'll always be fighting against mass gatherings, because at the end of the day, that's where the disease is going to breed itself, and we need to be careful of that. And we need to make sure that we're putting forward the right messaging. Even though we need to get back to work, we also still need to be safe. We still need to wear our masks. We still need to make sure that everybody is looked after prior to our financial well-being. But I do think at some point things are going to get better. Hopefully the vaccine is coming, because December's around the corner. December's around the corner.
Like, I'm just thinking of how much I could be making right now, even, because I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
It's a very tough thing to think around, but I also think it's also pushing us to think outside of the box and not necessarily fixate on one way of making an income, and also not fixating on one way of doing things. Obviously, restrictions now of 500 people outdoor, it's very limiting, but I think it's a start nonetheless. It's better than nothing. So we just need to kind of work our way around that. But outside of that, LeSoul, I do appreciate you and your time. I do want to know just a little bit more with regards to your music production. What else are you working on? What can we look forward to for 2020, 2021? Because I know you're very passionate about making sure that the music is out there and it speaks to you.
Yeah, definitely. It has to speak to me. I'm working on an EP, but the EP doesn't necessarily have to drop this year. But I will drop a single at the end of this month. Then just driving up to, just the festive season. Maybe in the festive season, I might feel like there's room for me to drop something else. I'm going to test it because now we're back, and we're playing. So I'm playing some of the songs that I want to drop, and people are just like, okay, cool. So which one? But I'm just kind of monitoring the response and seeing which one I want to drop at the end of the month. But I'm ready to drop an EP. Could be next year, March, but this year I have to drop a song at least to produce. I've worked with deep narratives. I've worked with black rhythm. I've worked with so many other instrumentalists, Freedom Kumete, Freeman Kumete. I've worked with TNS, which I worked on in his previous project. And yeah, I think I'm going to be working with Skills and a whole lot of other people from La AKZN. But because now I've built relationships in Johannesburg as well, as soon as I do my setup, then definitely, I'm blowing your phone.
I hope you haven't forgotten that I only play hip hop, but I'll try you out.
Oh, I got you though. I got you. I do make hip hop beats actually.
Yes.
I do make hip hop beats.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't know how good they are.
And that's what I want. All we want is to kind of grow the female base within the music industry, within the hip hop space, and to make sure that people get these opportunities. So if you've got those beats, let's rock, my girl. Let's rock. But thank you so much for your time. As I mentioned, outside of the music, and outside of the move maybe to Johannesburg, what else have you got planned for the next year or so, just so that we can keep dialed in? And where can we follow you on social media?
Okay, so next year I definitely want to look into making suits. I was supposed to do a collaboration with the brand that I've been working with for a while now, but it's all in place. We just need to get back to production. I want to release my own range of suits, because I like suits all the time, and I like comfort. So that's something I'm definitely looking into. Other than that, though, you call now on socials. It's DJ LeSoul on Facebook and on Instagram, and then it's DJ LeSoul SA on Twitter. Find a girl, follow. Jay, hey baby, let's connect.
Yes, hey baby, let's connect. I know. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I think we've had a really awesome conversation, and of course we will be supporting you 100%, and we're hoping that you are going to break those barriers and take yourself international, so that we can have somebody else flying the flag of South A throughout the world. Yes.
Thank you so much. And the support part, people don't know that my first channel gig, I need to go away.
Yeah.
I mess in, yo. But yeah,
that's how we learn.
See, I was broke. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things. So thank you very much for always just being around, even if we don't connect all the time. But I mean, I know for a fact, dude, if I ever need anything, you're there. So thank you.
100%. And I know you also pay it forward as well, and you also make sure that the support is given whenever I'm in Durban as well. So we need to keep up the network, keep up the support, and that's what's important to kind of us as females in the industry. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Cosmo. Thank you so much.
What an amazing conversation with DJ LeSoul as well as DJ Sandy. Just the level of introspection and the love and the conversation was really, really dope. And I love the fact that the women are always so daring and always willing to break boundaries with what they want to do for themselves. So shout out to LeSoul for being, one of those pioneers within the Durban space. And she's definitely doing big things for females and making people understand that anything is possible and you can go for all your dreams. Please do catch me again next week, same time, same place here on my podcast. And of course, keep on liking, subscribing, and turning on those notifications. And of course, send me some of your comments. Let me know what you think of the conversation. I did see a comment where somebody actually did request and begged me to interview LeSoul. So here's your interview. And of course, if there's anybody else that you'd like me to speak to, hit me up in the comment section. I'll be back again next week, Wednesday. Cheers.